Bonnie Blue got punched. However, one thing we don't ever condone is violence. Keying and laughing in the comments. Come on. We can't be doing that. The heck?
I'm about to launch my line shortly, and I take interest in you modeling it. You have a great thing going on, Empress.
People on TikTok get far too comfortable. I've seen a lot of people in the comments laugh at this, which I just feel like, come on, where's your sensitive bone? Let it unearth, because, like, yes, we don't agree with what Bonnie Blue does, and yes, we have a lot to say about, you know, her sexual, what she decides to do in her sexual time. However, one thing we don't ever condone is violence. So sitting there and keying and laughing in the comments, come on, we can't be doing that. The heck? What the who and heck? Also, have I been scammed? I went to I was recording a voice note for my friend, so I was a bit in disarray at London Bridge Station. And some young kid, bless him, he probably was about like 14, 15. He said, "Oh, can I do 150? What is the things when you with the ball, the knee ups? What are they called? Kick ups, and the knees, whatever that is." But I was like mid-recording voice note. And he's like, "Oh, can I do it? And then you give me like 30 quid." And I was thinking, "Oh, catch me off guard here, like, really?" And anyway, I started to feel bad. So I just said, "Look, don't do me the kick-ups. I'll just give you some money." Because he then was just saying, "Oh, like, I'm a young black boy, da-da-da-da-da, like, I don't want to get involved in, like, the wrong side of life. So £30. And then he mentioned PS5, but I'd only realised that he mentioned the PS5 after I transferred £10. He also said beggars can't be choosers, which is like, what? I had to tap my phone. I still haven't seen the money go out or leave my bank account until this day. Have I been scammed? I hope not. I really do hope not. Making the right people famous. I love it. Have you seen Bemi, Bus Auntie? She has been living it up on social media. I love the fact that she's done this collaboration with Burberry. I've seen her with the mayor. I've seen her with Wisdom K. Auntie is doing her thing. And it's so sweet. Like, she's just taking it in her stride. That's what I love. I've seen a lot of people that have like risen online, and then we then see this like twisted version of themselves. There's this one travel vlogger, me and my boyfriend, we loved watching his stuff. We used to sit there with the popcorn, watching him. And then all of a sudden he started going to these countries and talking about, you know, immigrants or people that have got like, people that are sleeping on the side of the streets. He started talking about like their race. And we was just like, has this just turned into a racial attack? Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I just feel like eventually these people can have millions and millions of followers, but eventually we start to see the true colours of these people. But listen, we're not trying to start on like a negative thing. But we see you. Time will tell. If you've got skeletons in your closet and you're an undercover racist, we're soon going to find out. I saw this thread that went out the other day, and it said, do the people that apply for MAFS UK lie to get on the programme and then switch it up, or do they really show this side to the team and still get on? It baffles me every year, because I've said this in last week's episode. There is no show as unhinged as MAFS UK. The contestants that they get on that show are the right amount of everything, but you still manage to have a little bit of a sweet spot for them. Do you know what I mean? And one thing that I've always been, that has had me gagged to the core is the way that you'll see some characters that will like get to the altar, go to do this, and then start fretting and then start crying to the camera. They're looking down the whatever millimeter lens, the 4K, 4 to 8K, and start crying like, have I made a mistake? So you mean to tell me you've quit your 9 to 5, you've done 59 auditions, you've got the producer on speed dial, and now you're crying like you've signed up to marry somebody at first sight, and now you're crying just because they're not your type on paper? Honey, you better continue. You better stay in there for the check. But what I will say though is sometimes I wonder whether they have like moles in the show that they're told pretend you don't like them and then just like flip it round. Because I don't know, if I don't really find somebody like visually aesthetically attractive, does that ever change? I guess there's some people, I guess so. Because I guess it's like, have you ever not fancied somebody to begin with, but you've ended up quite liking them later down the line? Like, we've been there, right? That's been a thing. But yeah, some of the characters that they have on these shows are just one thing that I can't stand though. I don't know if I'm going to get called out for this, so we might cut this out. We might leave it in. But extremists in any font, I can't deal with. But what we're seeing in MAFS, the extreme feminism, like to the point where a man can't, like, the poor guy can't get a word in edgeways without him being scrutinized. You can be for women's rights, for equal pay, for, you know, paying for things, paying your way. Of course you can. You can be for all of these things and still want to be treated like a princess. Like, what's wrong with that? What happened to that? But also don't penalize. Like, if my man is saying, I've grown up being taught to care and provide, nurture and love, support and da-da-da-da-da for a woman, like, that is the way that somebody has grown up. Do you know what I mean? So to sit there and huff and puff, like, how are you going to sit there and huff and puff? What's that rhyme? What was it? Huff and puff, and we're going to blow it down, whatever. You can't sit there and huff and puff like a big bad wolf. We're getting there. When that is the way that somebody was brought up. Instead, like, if there's certain attributes or things that they could do which may be slightly, you know, because there's nothing that he's really said that is like, I'm gonna keel over. Do you get what I mean? There's nothing that he said that is making you do that. So if we're talking about minor things, then it's just, it's a conversation. What happened to a conversation? What happened to a conversation? What happened to a conversation? I don't know what happened to a conversation, because it's all a conversation. It's never that deep. You know, I'm a woman that's a hard worker. I'll do my thing. I'll pay my way. If a guy is gonna treat me like a princesa, then I'm not complaining. Why are you complaining, hun? Do you get what I mean? Yeah, so the characters have been fantastic so far. Obviously, I'm speaking a week out. Hopefully, God willing, we get to a stage where we can do these more regularly and the turnover will be quicker. But until then, we're speaking in past tense. Dean and his partner, the partner is a bit harsh towards him, which is sad. Yeah, I get that. I feel like Dean probably needs to heal. Bless his cotton socks. Yeah, the partner, listen, at the end of the day, I've always said this, people have preferences. We should never penalize somebody for having preferences. If you've never been with a plus size man before and that's not typically your type, why is somebody going to sit, like, you can't scrutinize them. Do you know what I mean? which I don't think he has, to be fair. He hasn't, but he's then just like giving it back to her. She is a bit harsh, but it is what it is. Do you know what I mean? If she's used to 6-packs and salad eaters, then, you know, 4K calories a day isn't going to quite cut it for her, is it? Let me know what you think, though. Let me know what you think. Drop a comment. Get involved. I love a bit of reality TV. I can't lie. I do. I saw a video. Well, actually, no, I didn't see a video. I went to an event the other day. It was a Nando's event, and they had Uncle Waffles performing. And she didn't come on. She actually came on time. So shout out to Uncle Waffles at 10 o'clock. But somebody commented underneath a clip that went out of like the audience. And this is something that I actually noted and spoke to my friend about a little bit earlier on in the evening, about the fact that you look out into the crowd and nobody dances, nobody vibes. I went to South Africa earlier on in the year, and hearing Amapiano in South Africa, it is euphoric. Think Cloud9 constantly. Even if you cannot dance, all of it, you're doing this. You know what I mean? You're doing this. Even if you haven't got rhythm, all of a sudden it's in your blood. Do you know what I mean? Like, you just get it. Hearing it there is something else. Everybody's dancing, everybody's having a vibe. In London, what is going on in London? What is going on in the clubbing scene? Do people not want to move their bodies no more? We just saw an array of phones capturing the moment. And don't get me wrong, I was doing the same. Also, it was very hot, very crowded. But is the clubbing culture and the clubbing scene dying? Was it ever good? Have we always been a bit prudy when it comes to dancing? But then maybe it's just the private parties. Maybe it's the private parties, the ones that like get the heels turning and the vibes vibing. But I've definitely, when I throw my own parties, I definitely make sure that there's a vibe. Open bar or money behind the bar for like birthdays and that. And yeah, get everyone on their feet. Welcome to In the DMs, where I go through the funny, bizarre and unhinged DMs that we get sent in this wonderful and weird world that we call social media. Yes, social media. I'm George. Welcome back. Another solo episode. If you are a regular, if you watch this every single week or whenever I decide to drop an episode, drop a comment. Listen, you lot, who watch the show are silent in the comments. We're trying to make a community. And you're silent. Why is it? Tell me if there's anything that I need to do different. Tell me if you want to see more of something, less of something. Because I don't really get too much feedback. I just do this. I'm sticking to it. It's been a year. And I'm just vibing at this point. I have had moments where I've just thought, do I just sack it off? But we're still here. I'm still here. I'm still here. I'm still here. Right, let's get into it. This is a funny DM. It got sent in from one of my dear friends. I thought this was absolutely hilarious just because, like, what? Bear in mind, the first message this person sent was blessings and then proceeded to say this.
Good morning, blessings, Empress Adriana. How are you doing? I'm about to launch my line shortly, and I take interest in you modeling it. You have a bold ability to command any runway. You have a great thing going on, Empress.
The cadence, the tonality. Where do we think that voice is from? The way that he was putting in them pregnant pauses in between what it was that he was saying. Empress, you have a bold ability to command a room. Bloody heck, if I woke up on a random Thursday and got a message like that, that would make my day. Whether I would reply back to it or not is another question, obviously. But what? Let me listen to that one more time. Hang on.
Good morning, blessings.
Good morning, blessings.
How are you doing? I'm about to launch my line shortly, and I take interest in you modeling it. You have a bold ability to command any runway.
He almost sounds
you have a great
AI.
thing going on, Empress.
He actually almost sounds AI. I wish she actually replied back and went and then just like brought me with her, because I just want to hear that voice like in IRL. That is brilliant. This message came through. It is bizarre. So I posted a video. People on TikTok, they get far too comfortable. People on TikTok get far too comfortable with negativity. I think there's a difference between actually like spewing hate and something that is just not necessary, and writing a funny comment which has a meme and it's hilarious. We know the difference between the two. I made a video about Seven Sisters Market, Latin market that opened, and I went in. I had a sick experience, and I tried, I think, what was it? It was ribs, potatoes, coleslaw. It was nice. Ribs. It was a little bit dry, but it was tasty at the same. You know when something is dry but tasty? Maybe it could have done with jus, but it was nice. And then I had this sandwich, which was just chef's kiss, stunning. It had the right ingredients, the way that it came together, the marination. It was chef's kiss, right? So I documented my experience. And then, obviously 9 times out of 10, people are commenting being like, oh my gosh, I have to try that, this, that, and the other. Somebody commented saying, oh, the ribs look dry. And I was just like, oh yeah, they are, but they were dry, but they were tasty. They were flavoursome. I would still like not knock it until you try it. And do you know what I mean? They're new. Like, of course there's room for improvement, but ultimately I'm, bigging them up. Someone tried comment, and I think this was maybe about the sandwich in particular, saying, I'm sorry, the place was extremely mid. There's always one. There's always one. And I'm like, what do you want me to say in reply back to that? I literally was just like, first of all, did you try every single place, like every single place in that market? Because I would love to know. Let me pull up a seat, have a conversation. I would love to know. Have you tried every single place up in that? Oh, wait. That's first of all. Second of all, it's fine to have different taste buds. Do you know what I mean? It's fine to have different taste buds. But what do you want me to do now? If you're coming on my page and commenting saying that place was extremely mid, I literally replied back and I said, do you want me to delete my video then? Like, people on TikTok are getting far too comfortable. Especially them ones in the cooking videos. What if you don't like tomatoes? Well, don't make them with tomatoes then. But it's a tomato and mozzarella salad. Why? What is going on? Please, somebody tell me what's happening. It's always on TikTok as well. You'll always get them people. What if I don't like mushrooms? Like, common sense. Do you know what? It's common sense. Common sense does not prevail on TikTok because people will be asking you stupidness. And expecting, I don't even know what they expect. They just be out here asking stupidness. Anyway, a friend of mine got asked to do a brand deal, right? And the company said, for this specific campaign, our budget is set at $10. And this would be paid 100% in full immediately. Oh, no shit, Sherlock. $10. What, you want me to wait 30 working days for $10? You must be mad. You must be mad. $10. And they'd be paying into a British bank account. They'd be paying in pounds. So by the time we convert, is that what, £7.50, £8? You can't even get an M&S meal deal, a gastropub dine-in for two for that, with a bottle of wine, a main and a dessert. And you're saying 10 people are, these brands, they don't respect, a lot of them don't respect your time. They don't respect your time. They don't respect your effort. They don't respect your creativity. $10. Sometimes, yeah, when it comes to these things, like, people need to get into the habit of replying back to these brands saying, if I asked you to set design, edit, think of a concept, conceptualize, think of wardrobe. Did I say edit? Anyway, all the trimmings, camera angles, the lot, lighting, space, etc. Better yet, if I asked you to go and do your 9 to 5 for a tenner, what would you say? Exactly. And let's not even get onto those brands that are worth billions and are trying to skimp on paying content creators what they're worth. All for the sake of what? I'll leave you on that thought. That's some chat for another day, another night. But anyway, this has been In the DMs. If you have got any DMs that are funny, bizarre, or unhinged, please do slide into my DMs at @George_. It has been a pleasure. Happy to see you again. For anybody that is new that is watching, welcome. I hope you've enjoyed. And I'll catch you back next week. If there's anything that you want me to cover, let me know. Any feedback, as I said, message me. Yeah, ciao. Kisses, besos.